Hello again, YouTube. This is the truth, man. Giving you the truth. The truth. And on this one, we're going to be making a lot of videos. They kind of threw me off with the algorithm. The algorithm was starting to be in my favor. Then I made the video about COVID and got a week strike. But anyway, I'm back. And on this one, our topic, the title of this is Know-it-alls, how to deal with them, how to spot them. Now, sometimes I change the title up a little bit, but you know it's going to be along those lines. So, when you're dealing with know-it-alls, just understand one thing, that you're wasting your breath in most cases. Not going to change their mind. Because today, in today's world, people are going to think what they want, and they're going to believe who and what they want, and it don't matter what's true, what's false. So I want to help you to recognize these things. So when you're at work, you could just go to work, all that little arguing, negative energy, you can avoid all that. I learned this from past failures in dealing with know-it-alls and people who already got their mind made up about you. You know, you basically pretty much wasting your time, man. You need to focus on getting around people that don't act in these ways, or not being around people at all. Learn how to make your money by yourself. Or quick exchange type of stuff. Like, there's so many ways to make money right now. You don't have to be at a job with all these personalities. You can make money online. You can make money through deliveries. You can make money. You can start your own business. You know, start low, get high. You know how business be. Once again, look shiny. But dealing with know-it-alls. So, when dealing with know-it-alls, understand. Now, this is what makes a person a know-it-all. We're not talking about people who know about a lot of stuff. Let me give you an example. If you got a person that talks about 7 topics in a day, right? That they well-versed, they know the truth, they know what they're talking about, all 7 times, that don't make them know-it-all. What makes a person a know-it-all, which is a negative term, is when they try to speak on topics that they don't know what they're talking about, but think they do. Examples. One more examples. A person who talks about the Bible but ain't never read it. Most High ain't never showed them nothing. They just think they're smarter than you. They think they know more than you. And where do these know-it-alls, what makes them act like this? Well, when they think they have an advantage over you. Maybe they're more educated than you. Maybe they think they make more money than you. Maybe they think they're smarter than you. See, a lot of the people y'all clinging to, you need to get rid of. You clinging to people that you need to stop dealing with because they really holding you back in life. You want to have your own business, but you around all these people that don't think you smart enough. So what they gonna do? I don't think you should do that. I think you should just this, that. I think you should just keep working this job. Try to retire from this job. I think you should just this. I think you should just that. Do they think they know more than you? You know about investing. They don't. But if they're older than you, or maybe they know perhaps you filed bankruptcy, people know-it-alls will judge you by your past. Let's say you had let's say you bounced back from drug use. Say you used to be a hype on drugs or whatever. Now you're doing good. You done got your college degree, or you done started your own business. You're doing better in life. But it's always that one person who everything you say, they're going to try to downplay it because they think that what you did in the past disqualifies you. People do that to people when they get saved. All different facets of life. Why? Because they are know-it-alls. They're know-it-alls. You can't even get a word in because they think they know more than you. How to deal with know-it-alls. Number 1, Number one, we'll start with some of the things they do. They'll talk over you when you talk. They'll downplay everything that you mention. Let's say you're at work. Let's say you're at work and you say, well, I noticed that this works better. We should do it this way. The know-it-all don't believe nothing you say. They don't respect you. Nah, we're going to do it this way. Even though your way could be better, or your way is the right way sometimes. No, we're going to do it this way. That's a know-it-all. That's a know-it-all. A know-it-all is someone who, okay, for instance, let's say you have 15 years experience doing X, Y, and Z. The know-it-all was doing something else, but because they did it longer than you, they're over you now. They're your supervisor. They're your manager. They're the lieutenant. They're this, that. Sometimes they gonna intentionally bump heads with you. No, we ain't doing that. We doing this. So, number one thing you need to do, you need to be 100% self-employed. If you don't, then you might as well learn how to deal with these know-it-alls. So, number one, dealing with know-it-alls. When the conflict starts, end it by not responding anymore. Don't respond anymore. Change the subject, walk away, do whatever you got to do to end that conflict. Because I'm telling you, you keep it going by, you might be right, but you keep it going, the know-it-all going to have other know-it-alls on their side. It's going to make you look bad. It's going to make you look like you're in the wrong. So just don't give energy to the conflict. End it by not responding to it anymore. If you're a spiritual person, the people that are around you, maybe your relatives, maybe your coworkers, they're always, because they are not right with God, they're going to look for fault in things you did. Nobody's perfect, but they're always going to know about that one thing you did or that one thing you said and hold it over your head. Why? Because they're know-it-all. Know-it-alls don't want to do right. They think they already are right. So they're not going to do right. They're not going to hold themselves accountable. They get divorced more often than nobody. A lot of divorces come from one or the other being know-it-alls. If you got two know-it-alls, they're going to get divorced. Guaranteed. So, number one, you 100% self-employment will take away, it'll curve some of this, if you will. Self-employment. Do jobs where all this stuff don't come into play, where politics don't come into play. Because a know-it-all will hold your political beliefs against you because they think that their political beliefs are right. So you don't talk about this. The minute you get to arguing, debating, end it. Because what's going to happen? The know-it-all is going to become the snitch. The know-it-all is going to become the backbiter, the gossiper, the one who creates problems between you and others. So end it. You don't got to talk to people at work. You don't have to talk to people. If you're going to see your mama on Thanksgiving and your cousin, uncles, this, that, and another, know-it-alls, why are you're not there for them, right? You went to see your mama, right? So why are you talking to them? How are you getting in a debate about Trump with your relative that you only see once or twice a year? Stop talking to them so much. If you're trying to be rich and your cousins or your sister or your brother want to be a bag lady, want to go to food pantries, want to do all the stuff that poor people do, and they trying to argue with you because you maybe filed bankruptcy in the past, oh, well, I think you should do this. So when did you become the authority and the figure to tell others what to do and you haven't learned what to do? See, sometimes I'll listen to people who fail because sometimes failure breeds success. Like a person can show me what not to do. So sometimes I will listen to people who fail before I listen to a know-it-all. Know-it-alls are the worst people to deal with. So I'll listen to a person that felt like, yeah, well, I made this mistake this year, but I learned and now I came back and I'm able to do this. I'll listen to that person before I'll listen to a person who's trying to speak on a subject that they have not read, they have not studied, they don't know about. They think because they're older than you, maybe they're your uncle, maybe they're your mother, your father. If I know about investments and you don't, how are you trying to teach me about investments? You ain't never read about it, you don't know dividend, you don't know nothing about it, but yet because you think, and like I tell you all the time, you have a right to think what you want. You think that you're smarter than me or others, so you're talking. Number two, when a know-it-all gets deep into his talk or her talk, again, it's kind of in line with number one. Change the subject. If you know about something and they don't, I've made this mistake many times. Why are you arguing with them? We have to learn how to let people think for themselves. Let people sink and swim on their own. Change the subject. If they trying to argue with you about the vaccine or about politics or about this or about that, change the subject. Let them do what they want. Let them think what they want. Change the subject. That's why I'm not talking about that C thing on YouTube no more. I'll talk about it on BitChute, but I'm not talking about it on YouTube anymore. So, number one, you get self-employed. End the conflict by you in the conflict. And number two, change the subject. Change the subject. If every time they see you, they try to bring it up, take a deep breath, look off to another way, look back at them, and talk about sports, the weather, this, that, or the other. And I'm going to tell you something, you job workers, it's time to stop spending all your money. Some of you need to file bankruptcy. You need to get rid of all those bills that's holding you back and making you stay in that toxic place that's going to kill you. It's going to kill you physically. You're going to mess around and get sick. You need to move around. Some of you need to move. Some of you need to move out of your towns. You live in a town full of people with all these lies. They lying on you. You don't even know they lying on you. And people acting funny towards you because people lying on you. Then you got all these people who don't respect you. You've grown. You've matured as a person. But they looking at how you were back here. Why are you still there? If you have the money to move somewhere where they don't know you. Make new friends. Just because you had a fondness for this person, cousin, auntie, uncle, friends, that don't mean that you have to continue your whole entire life dealing with that person, especially if they're a know-it-all, especially if they don't respect you and don't view you in a way that will make you grow. You trying to hold on to negativity. Remember what I teach you about negativity. 5 negative plus 1 positive equal 4 negative 4. So what's going on? You don't have to, okay, even coworkers. Once you see that person cuts the tie, they don't call you, they don't text you. Why are you trying to connect? Why are you still trying? And I've made this mistake. Why are you still trying to connect with them? If you know you would call that person first and they decide to cut ties with you, don't call them no more. Don't call them no more. Stop trying to be friends with enemies. Stop trying to be friends with know-it-alls, with people who don't respect you. People who don't agree with you. Why are you wasting time? If you are right on something, why are you arguing with somebody that's wrong? Let them be wrong. The Bible even says, let the unjust be unjust still. Stop caring about people who don't care for you. You say, well, the Bible say love your enemies. It's other ways to love. It's other ways to love. You don't give somebody your best that's giving you their worst. You just don't. You don't. So sometimes you might have that sister, you might have that, they own a house, you don't. They have a good degree, you don't. And so, what's a degree? If you know how to, and then this was funny about people nowadays. They go by status, the status of the masses. So if they have a degree and you don't, or they have more education than you, they automatically think they are better than you. So when you spot it, remember, in the conflict, change the subject, move on. Stop talking about business with clock pluggers. Let them punch the clock. You stack that money up, and sometimes show a picture of it. Stop trying to always take the easy way out on people that need to see. The Bible even say he prepares a table for you before your enemies. Half of y'all think y'all know the Bible and you don't. You've been too merciful on people, that you need to tell them the truth, or you need to stop dealing with them. They are know-it-alls. Narcissists is another word for it. When you throw something out on Facebook that's true, that's good, nobody like it, it's because they think they better than you. They know it, they think they hate on you, they think they know more than you. They think they know more than you. That's why they do that. Owning a home, having a degree does not make you smarter than anybody. It don't make you better than anybody. But yet people seem to think so, because they're shallow like that. They're shallow like that. Lazarus was a poor man begging for crumbs from the rich man's table in the Bible, but yet the rich man was in hell and looking up at Lazarus in glory. That's how it be working. Because he was too much of a know-it-all to get his mind right and to make peace with the Most High. He couldn't take them riches. He couldn't even buy water, and he probably had cases of water well in his backyard. But then when he went to hell, he was experiencing thirst and couldn't even get it. He couldn't fulfill it. Which brings me to number 3. No matter what these people say to you, keep your priorities in order. One mistake, and I made this mistake in the past, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do. You get to buying these cars. Some people, it's not why I bought them. I got 2 fairly new cars, and I have 2 used cars. But if it was up to me, I would have kept driving the used cars, but I couldn't find anybody to fix them. Know-it-alls are trying to argue with me. I'm telling them, look, that's not fixed. Blah, 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 blah. People, 2021. Argue. I'm a preacher. You're not. I pray more than you. I get revelation from God. You don't. So how is it that when we talk about God, you're trying to tell me? You should be listening. And when it's your turn to talk, if you're going to speak on a subject, make sure you know what you're talking about. Because people have done that many times. Well, God don't like ugly. How you know what God like? You ain't talked to him in 30 years. You don't deal with him. You only pray to him when something is wrong. How do you know what God likes? You don't even know what your own brother likes. You don't even know what your cousin likes. How can you tell me what God likes? It's your arrogance. It's your know-it-all. You are a freaking know-it-all. That's why people do that. So those are some of the ways. Get your own business. Cut their water off, as they say. Cut them short. Keep learning is another thing. You keep learning, get better and better. Because sometimes you really need to put them in their place, and you really need to make these know-it-alls be speechless when they try to argue and debate with you. I was debating over some things on Facebook, and I silenced them all. They can't debate me on. Always remember this. I've learned. And it's another thing. If you are going to debate someone, don't debate them until you know what you're talking about, forwards and backwards. And another thing, focus on bettering yourself. Forget about people. Don't worry about what other people is doing. If you have your righteous standards and someone else is going defying God in the way they live and think, ignore them. That's another thing. Learn when and how to ignore people. This is how you have to deal with know-it-alls. They do it to you. They're going to ignore you. Why won't you ignore them? And then when you go into these fast food places, you're dealing with a lot of know-it-alls. They think they don't make no mistakes. Be specific. Even in corrections, I learned, be specific. If I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm saying, I'm not going to listen to you. Like only time I'm going to listen to you is if I'm not sure. So if somebody won't get your order right, or they take it too long, you go in there, you tell them, I need my order or I need my money back. Don't argue with them. These little tattoo wearing, oh, I'm tough, I got guns, my people's this, my people's that. Don't get into all of that. They don't get your order right, call corporate or go in there and tell them, I want my order or I want my money back. If they get to arguing with you, start dialing corporate right there. What's corporate number? Stop all these arguments. And we'll come back to this because I'm at 22 minutes. This the truth, man. We talking about know-it-alls, how to deal with them, some things to do. Like, share, subscribe.